Trying to see where everybody is at. It says 7 people are watching and whatnot, but I don't see anybody in the chat. Okay, now I'm seeing people starting to pop in. I don't know what that was all about earlier. But what's going on, Darnell, Queen of Sheba, and Anthony? First name, last name. What's going on, Miss Garcia? What's going on, everyday peoples? I wonder where everybody at. Usually I get way more people watching by this time. Maybe I don't know, it's because I started an hour earlier, or if it's because of the time change or what have you, because time went back an hour today. So people got that extra hour of sleep. What's going on, Victor? And as y'all can see, yes, I'm starting a whole hour earlier than I usually do, and I'm only going to stay on for an hour because I have to go to work a little bit later on, and I do want to get some rest before I go in because I'm going to need the energy to deal with those people tonight. I almost didn't do the live stream because of that, but I said I want to give them something, and I just not do anything. Yeah, I kind of figured that's what it was. It's probably because of the time change. Well, let me give it a few more minutes. Hopefully, more people will come in because I don't want to because it's like some things I wanted to talk about, and I want as many people to hear it as possible because I don't want people to come back and say, "Oh, we missed it," and all types of stuff like that. Because of the time change and a lot of stuff that I'm gonna talk about, I haven't done a video on, and I don't plan on doing a video for it. So I'm probably only going to talk about it in this live stream, and I'm only going to be on it for an hour. What's going on, Niam and Ashton? Which one, Victor? There was a few of them that I saw. Actually, two of them. I saw another one today. I did see that one, but it was another one that I saw too from like about an hour ago. What's going on, Brielle and IDK? I'm gonna just go ahead and get started. Whoever comes in, because I can't really wait and do like the long intro like I usually do because of the time restraint. And like I said, at 1 o'clock I gotta cut the stream off, like no exceptions. But as usual, because it's Sunday, the first Sunday of the month, I always do my PayPal and Patreon shout outs. So I'm going to start off with the people who donated to me through PayPal for the month of October. Shout out to Audrey Wright, Michael McMillan, Joe Johnson, Andrea James, Crew Reality, uh, Darren Bennett, and Darren Bennett. Those are the ones who donated to me. And shout out to Crew Reality and Michael McMillan because they donated twice to me in the month of October. What's going on, cats? For some reason, it's always an issue when I'm trying to pull up this Patreon app on my phone. It's like when I try to see everything, the damn app always closes on me. Okay. One of the best ways for me to read off the Patreon ones because every time someone becomes a new patron of mine, I always send them a message. So that's the easiest way for me to figure it out. So I'm gonna do it like that from now on because every time I try to go to the list on the app, it always closes down on me. But shout out to Jamal Isaac, Lisa Clark, Classic Barrister, and Otis Pimpleton for becoming new patrons to me in the month of October. All right, before we go any further, I have to give a happy belated birthday shout out to if y'all didn't know, Colin Kaepernick, his birthday was yesterday. He turned 31. I mean, Taurus is still the best sign, but shout out to him anyway, and shout out to the Scorpios. But it's still going to be, the Taurus is always going to be the best sign, and that's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There is no debate. I wonder if no one really got the notification because I noticed something on when I was getting ready to start the show. It had 1 p.m. up there, even though I started at 12 o'clock. So I wonder if people saw that 1 o'clock and they probably still think it's one, and when 1 o'clock comes, they're gonna try to hop on as soon as I'm getting ready to hop off. I feel like YouTube should have changed their clocks automatically and not have you have not with you having to go in and you have to change the clock manually. Because if that's what they did, that's probably why not a lot of people are in here right now. But still, regardless, I think because of the notifications, they should still send it out regardless. But I don't know. This whole daylight saving time always throws people off the day after. For some people, it takes them the whole week to adjust. Because my clock will automatically go back unless it's like a digital clock and you got to manually change it. But anyway, gotta keep going forward. Did y'all hear they're finally doing the third Bad Boys movie? Will Smith had posted up a video on his Instagram page of him and Martin Lawrence. I believe they was in Miami because, as you know, the movie Bad Boys films in Miami. That's where it takes place at, and they're finally working on the movie after saying and how many like so many rumors for years that they were finally going to work on the movie, but now it's finally happening. So I don't know when they're going to start filming it. Probably sometime next year, and it's probably going to come out in 2020, most likely. But I'm glad that it's finally happening because Bad Boys is a classic film. He said two old men. I'm like this. If Arnold Schwarzenegger and can continue doing Terminator movies, and Sylvester Stallone can continue doing what's Creed now, but where he's playing the character of Rocky, or if they try to come out with another Rambo movie, why can't Will Smith and Martin Lawrence still continue to do action movies, still do Bad Boys? That's how I feel about it. And did y'all see that? Did y'all see that picture that went viral of that cheerleader for the 49ers who took a knee during the anthem? I don't even know her name, but they kept showing the picture of her from behind. I could tell she was black, and when they put the camera to the front of her, then it was like, oh, it was a black cheerleader. Shout out to her, and ironically, she's a cheerleader for the 49ers. What's going on, True Royal family? I said, I hope they don't kick her off of the squad. Exactly, Anthony. Vin Diesel is. I don't know if Vin Diesel is in his 50s or not, but I know he's probably pushing 50 if he's not in the 50s already. And yeah, he is still doing Fast and the Furious movies like that. That's what's keeping, in my opinion, that's what's keeping him relevant nowadays. Is those movies. That and him doing the voice of Groot in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and even that's hanging in the balance because of everything that happened with James Gunn. Okay, he's okay. You say he's 51. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know how old he. I didn't know how old he was. All right, the next topic I'm gonna talk about is that that shooting that happened in North Carolina. Now, for those of you who have been watching, y'all know I did talk about that video, and many people were shocked to find out that it involved two black boys. The one of the black boys, the one was shot. He was the victim. He ended up getting killed, and the other one, he was the shooter. Well, it was actually some more details that had came out about that since I did make that video. And it turns out that the boy who shot the other boy, they both got into a confrontation like I think the week before. And then came back next week, and then that's when it turned even more violent. And then that's when the shooting actually occurred. I said they are going to throw the book at that boy. His life is pretty much down the drain at this point. And what's even crazier is the school had the nerve to actually allow the students to go back to class after a school shooting just occurred, and they probably just witnessed their friend or their classmate get murdered right there, probably in front of them. Like, there's no way I could continue with my school day seeing some stuff like that. I know they're going to try him as an adult. I already know they're going to try him as an adult. And they're going to charge him with murder, one, because now knowing that he brought the gun to school, they're automatically going to say it was premeditated murder because he had the intent to kill someone or, harm someone in that way. And make sure if y'all haven't hit the like button already to do so, if you haven't done so already. Of course, not Queen of Sheba, but they're not going to mention anything about him being mentally ill because he, according to them, he knew exactly what he was doing. What I was actually shocked to find out, though, after learning about the shooting that happened at that school, was learning that one of the very first shootings that happened inside of a school happened in New York, and it was a black person that did it. Now, that one wasn't a mass shooting. That was another one, sort of like the one that happened in North Carolina. It was a specific target. What's going on, Craig? They'll always be on that double standard. Shaw, you said you wanted your hour. Didn't you get your hour, or did you were you awake through your extra hour? Because some people were up to their extra hour. I said y'all should have took that advantage of being sleeping extra hour. But before I go any further, to go back into sports, and this is not has nothing to do with sports per se, but it does deal with a person who used to be involved in basketball, and that is none other than Scottie Pippen. He, whose name should now be Scottie Simpin. Like he earned that title. So in case y'all haven't heard, uh, as you all know, Scottie Pippen was married at this point, probably was married to this woman. I forget her name is Larsa something, and I think he's been married to her like since the late '90s or anything, something like that. Anyway, he found out that she was cheating on him, that she slept with Future. Future the rapper. See, one of Sierra's baby daddies. Well, just one because she's married to Russell Wilson, and he found out he brought up or he was ready to draw up some divorce papers, like getting ready to sign on that dotted line to break away from her. She would have received absolutely nothing. Why did this fool rescind on those divorce papers, get back with her, buy her a 4 million, that's a million with an M, dollar ring, and now she's filing a divorce from him? And by her doing that, she can stand to get like $50 million in a divorce settlement. I say he has got to be the biggest fool on the planet right now. I said you had her right where you wanted her, broke like left out by herself on the curb somewhere. She would not have gotten anything, and now she's standing to get this money for something she did. When I heard that, I said, "Wow." I said he cannot be serious. He said Jordan told him to stick with. Well, he needs to go and find MJ and kick him in the face with his own Jordans. And to be quite honest, and you know what? I know that he's married to a white woman, but guess what? If that was a black woman that was gonna who did this, was in that same scenario, I would have been like the same. I would have been the same way. Nope, you cheat on me once, you're gone. Especially if you got a lot of money like that. And Scottie Pippen, a lot of people think that Scottie Pippen don't have it like that. If y'all seen how Scottie lives his life, he lives a very lavish, outlandish type of lifestyle, even after not playing in the NBA for years. Because of all the, I guess you could say, a lot of behind the scenes endorsement deals that he has that he most likely doesn't talk about. No man in his right mind, and clearly Scottie isn't in his, would have took that woman back after doing that. Especially if you stood to lose a lot. But you gave that woman a $4 million ring, and right after she files a divorce from you, and I bet you she's not going to rescind those divorce papers. I said she must got something magical between her legs for him to say, you know what, I'm calling off the divorce. Yeah, black native she is. Well, if he did it for his kids, she clearly ain't doing it for the kids because I'm telling you, she ain't gonna pull back on that divorce. She gonna take that divorce and then she gonna take that money. She ain't gonna say no to that $50 million. And mind you, like I said, she was the one that cheated, not him. He was the one that stayed faithful. She didn't. If he would have just up and divorced her after he found out she cheated on him, she would have left with nothing, not with any money or not with the kids. But no, he had to pull back, and now she's filing a divorce from him, and now she's going to get a lot of money or stands to get a lot of money. When I saw that, I was so mad. I was so mad. I was like, Scotty, you had her right where you wanted her, and you buckled. Oh, Baylor, I'm glad you actually mentioned what about the Kardashians, because guess what? She also has been known to hang around them Kardashian witches in that coven. I forgot to mention that. She's known to be around that family. I said, oh, that's another red flag. Because you know, whenever people hang out with them, there's nothing good that comes from that. What's going on, Black Rage? All right, let me move on to the next topic. That wasn't even one of the things I wanted to bring up, but it's like that sat on my mind, and I said I have to say something. But anyway, the next topic, Gagne Jones. So as you already know, and I spoke about it, Gagne Jones is the young man, I believe he was 25 years old, and he was found lynched in his mother's backyard. I think he was hanging from a sheet, and he had something down around his ankle. Somebody said they think it was his pants or something to that effect. I couldn't tell by the way that the image was, because it was like, it looked like it was taken with a phone or something like that, and it was dark. And now they're trying to, and I knew this was going to happen. They're trying to rule that it was a suicide. I knew that was going to happen. They love ruling stuff like this as a suicide. That way they don't have to conduct an investigation. And ironically, this too happened in Ferguson, Missouri, where we all know what happened in Ferguson back in 2014 with Mike Brown. He did not commit suicide. He was lynched by somebody or somebody's up there. And in his mother's backyard. I mean, could you imagine being his mother and you go outside, you look in your backyard, and you see your child hanging from a tree? And then for them to go and throw it back in your face and insult your intelligence and say that he committed suicide. I'm like, black people will commit suicide, but not like that. Because we know the history of lynching in this establishment, and we know that's not a way we would want to go out. Exactly, Ashton. He did have bruises on his face. So you can tell it was a struggle and somebody beat him and then they hung him. But like I said, they want to label it a suicide because they don't want to conduct an investigation. They know that when they can say it's a suicide, it's like an open and shut case, and they don't have to look for any suspects. But he was definitely lynched. What's going on in Dallas Fort Worth? It's gotten to the point where now you might have to wear a body camera on you and have it hidden somewhere, or have some surveillance cameras around your house. Because you got to think, like, how can you hang yourself like that? You got to think, you got to make the news, then you got to throw it over something. You have to have it anchored to something, and then you got to climb up and then hang yourself and make sure that your feet are a couple of inches off of the ground where they're not even touches on you, like not even when you're standing on your tippy toes. That means something has to be underneath you, and like, how are you going to kick it from under you to another side where no one sees it? Okay, Chris said his mom said the sheets didn't come from her house. I believe his feet was tied black native, and I think they would because they someone said that those were his pants that were around his ankles. So they probably tied him with his tied his feet. The only thing that was loose was his hands. But his hands looked like they were balled up, like in a fist formation. So I'm willing to bet that he probably was trying to fight off his attackers, and when he was trying to like struggle, then his hands were like that. Or what they probably did is they probably tied his hands, and then when he was dead, they probably untied him to make it seem like he did it himself. I don't know what the race of the coroner is. I hope not either, action. I really don't. And seeing how she's like an activist, I don't see how she has that forgiveness type of spirit in her. Hopefully she doesn't. That's good, Balo. Don't believe that narrative. I don't believe that stuff when they say, oh, so and so lynched themselves and whatnot. But when I did that video, I had to use another picture of him. I couldn't stand to keep looking at that picture of him hanging like that. I just couldn't. I saw it too many times floating around on social media. But like I said, mainstream media did not talk about that for the longest. And you would think that when I spoke on it, it just happened. No, it happened like a week and a half before I spoke on it because mainstream media didn't make one peep about it. What's going on, Angela? They think we stupid. We know that he was lynched. We know that he had some help getting up there. Not by choice, but more like force. Not only learn how to fight, but also walk in packs. Like black people have to start walking more in packs and not be alone because he could easily defend himself maybe against one person. But when you got 2 and 3 people coming out from everywhere and they jump you, unless you turn into the Incredible Hulk, it's like a no-win situation. Because we know they don't fight fair. As a matter of fact, I have a video that I'm gonna upload probably right before I go to work, not right after the stream is over, and it's gonna show an example of a story of an incident that happened and how lamestream media tried to flip it even after raw footage showed the person that was involved was clearly in the right against the person that was clearly in the wrong. But I'm not gonna go into detail about that on here. I'm gonna let y'all watch it for yourself. Because some of y'all probably didn't see it yet. So I'm gonna leave it like that. All right, I'm gonna go to the next story, and the next one I titled it. The next topic I titled it "Kneel Now," and the reason why I titled it that way is because I said the pale community has a lot of nerve to do something or try to co-opt something that black people started, told us not to do, and then they go right behind and they do it, and there's no backlash. What I'm talking about is, so we all know what happened last week in Pittsburgh with the synagogue and the shooting that happened there. And you had some people that was going to, I guess, NFL games and things of that nature, and they were kneeling during the national anthem. But it wasn't because of what Colin Kaepernick was kneeling for. It's because they were kneeling for the victims that got killed in that synagogue. Now, I want to know, was there any pushback when they did it compared to when we did it? I'm willing to bet probably not. What's going on, Jamal? I said they got a lot of nerve. And like I said, I bet you it was no pushback whatsoever when they did it. Not a lot of people even knew that they did do it. But and I wouldn't have known either if Harvey Superboy and I think Lisa were the only two, or maybe it was one more that talked about it. Just like they took the Black Power fist and started using it in that Me Too movement, which I did at them yesterday. I did mention them on Twitter, like for the first time ever, instead of using the hashtag and saying don't take them seriously because they took a $20 million donation from Les Moonves. They didn't like my account. Must didn't reach them. I didn't see that sign, Miss Garcia. And we know why they're not going to push back, because the owners, most of them, are quote unquote Jewish. So that lines up right with their narrative. But when it comes to our narrative, oh, they need to stand. They need to honor the flag. They need to respect the military and do all this and do that. It's like they're allowed to protest whatever they want to believe in or for whatever benefit, and that's fine. They can do that. But when we do it, it gets co-opted most of the times. And when we do it, it's always a problem. Before you know it, the Black Power is they're gonna co-opt that into what they already have, but no one really acknowledges it when they do it. Only when we call them out on it. That's what I said, Bradley. That's why I couldn't bring myself to feel anything for them, because a lot of them probably did vote for 45. And a lot of them probably did say a lot of things that has been going on with Black people over the years, especially under the Obama administration, when we were constantly getting gunned down in the street by these cops. Or I wonder, better example, how did they feel after what happened with the church in Charleston, South Carolina, with Dylan Roof? And another double standard. Amazing how they were so quick to label Robert Bowers, who was the shooter at the synagogue. They labeled his a hate crime literally like the next day, but with what's his name? Gregory Allen Bush, they have to question whether or not it was a hate crime. And I got a video coming soon about that, because it was something that I learned about Kentucky and their hate crime laws. And I'm gonna leave it at that. Y'all probably gonna figure it out just by me saying that. Like, they always got to question whether or not it was a hate crime. The guy said he wanted to kill Black people, and whites shouldn't kill whites. He intended to go into a Black church and do what Dylan Roof did, but nah, he went to Kroger and killed 2 Black people and intended to kill more. I said, if that's not a hate crime, I don't know what is. And then they want to try to act so dumbfounded, like we don't know what they're talking about. We know your code speak. Many of us are familiar with Lee Atwater. He blew your whole operation up when he got exposed back in 1984. The next topic I wanted to discuss is Kanye West and him being so-called used. First off, I'm not falling for it. I didn't fall for it before, and I'm not falling for it now. Like I said in the video that I did, Kanye West said a couple weeks ago that he was in the sunken place. And I said, first off, I'm shocked he even acknowledged that he was in the sunken place, but I truly believe he's still there. And second of all, after he said he was in the sunken place, uh, a week later, he's in 45's office talking about he's a father figure. Are you sure you're out of the sunken place? I doubt it. Now he's saying that he felt he was being used. Well, go with that feeling, Kanye, because myself and others been saying that you've been used. It's just that now you finally see it. But I'm telling you right now, the election is on Tuesday. I want to know how he's going to feel after that. Oh, it's going to be a lot of wake up calls to come after Tuesday. Just like 2 years ago, there was a lot of wake up calls to come from that, and they're happening right now as we speak. That's what I said, Dallas Fort Worth. He just needs to stay off of social media, just go somewhere, be with his family, and just sit down and shut up. He said Candace Owens was using him. And she most likely was because she is an opportunist. But we've been telling him and saying he was being used. Yeah, and Candace Owens, she's in the hot seat herself for stealing that Brexit term. I said, first off, that term doesn't even sound original because you got it from Brexit. And then to find out that she actually got it from an organization that used the term Brexit a couple years ago for something completely different. I said that's why I titled the video Candace Owens the Settler in Blackface. I almost called it Candace Owens the Black Gentrifier because that's basically what she did. And that's another one who be fence straddling. And while we're talking about people who have an identity crisis, let's talk about that treasure girl again. Somebody had sent me a link to her video. I didn't watch it because I was already put off by the title. And she was talking about Rosa Parks, but it was very in a very derogatory way. Someone needs to put, I don't know, hit that girl with a trank dart or something so she can be quiet. I mean, we all kind of figure her going on to Dr. Phil, her and her mammy mother was a stunt. You know what? Who blew her up? You want to know who exposed her? Her older sister. She did a Instagram live, or was it a Facebook live? It was one of them live streams on one of them platforms where she exposed her sister Treasure and her mother, basically saying they were doing that for a free trip to Dr. Phil and to try to get some exposure. She was saying how how that Treasure girl has black friends, how she's run away, how CPS used to be looking for her, and all kinds of stuff. And I believe her too. I believe, and you know what's so crazy? That Treasure girl, the name of her channel is called Treasure the White Queen. And I'm looking through the comments, you got these white people actually calling her a white queen. They're just as delusional as she is. I said, nowhere on earth is that girl anywhere near white. And like Angry Man said on his video that he did, even if it was a stunt, a publicity stunt that she did, the damage is already done. The only one it seems that got some sense in that family is the sister that exposed her and her mother. What she need to do is go see an orthodontist and get them teeth fixed. I saw someone had posted up a meme. I forgot who it was. I want to think it was 50 Cent. Something tells me he's petty enough to do it. Where he put a picture of Treasure smiling, as horrific as that is, and put it next to the Batman logo and said, "This is what her teeth look like." And I laughed so hard because it was so accurate. Of course, they do organ dreams because their views line right up with theirs, and they know they don't have to push back against them, and they can use them as a shield to deflect when we come at them. She's most definitely not going to come become the next Cash Me Outside girl, not by a long shot. Yeah, like I said, that girl has some serious like issues and that she needs to fix ASAP. Thank you, Ash. And that's what she said. She said that Rosa Parks was a terrorist. That's what it was. I couldn't think of what it was, but I knew it was something bad. I knew it was something bad. But yeah, like I'm glad her sister called her out and whatnot. I almost did a video on it, but I said, nah, I won't do one on it. Some of y'all probably saw it, but she was going in on her, and rightfully so. All right, the next topic I wanted to talk about is something that I saw many of you was excited about. I didn't do a video about it, but I know Lisa did, and that's the birthright citizenship possibly ending. And a lot of people said they don't like Donald Trump, but they said they do like this. So basically what the birthright citizenship thing is you have immigrants who came over here. They probably got married to stay in the country establishment. Then they had a child, which makes that child a first generation born American, even though their parent is an immigrant. And basically, they're trying to rescind it where they, let's just say, put it this way, if they have to deport the parent, that means that the child that was born here has to be deported along with them. Exactly, to Jahidi. No anchor babies. And I said on Leisha's channel, I said, well, in that case, when is Donald Trump's wife and her family going to pack their stuff up? Because didn't he just import her family over here a couple months ago? I mean, that would only be right. There's a lot of violations being made to that Constitution. What's going on, BGS? Yeah, but they trying to get all of them up out of here. But black people don't get too comfortable because you know stuff like this have a trickle down effect. They'll find a way to put something on us. They've been wanting to try to get rid of us, but they just can't find a way to do it. But trust and believe, if they find a way, they're going to implement it fast, quick, and in a hurry. But like I said, it's like they make these so-called rules and policies, but it's only used to their benefit, and they'll violate every policy that they make, but they'll implement it on us, and they'll go in with that policy. What's going on the once in future, man? Now, Ms. Garcia, you know they're not going to get rid of her and that family. They're going to find a loophole to make them stay. All right, the next topic I wanted to talk about.
G2.
My bad, y'all. I had to handle something right quick. But the next topic I wanted to talk about was Don Lemon and that comment that he made on CNN earlier this week. First off, the only thing that surprised me was the fact that Don Lemon actually had the balls to say it. Like that actually caught me by surprise. That he of all people said it. Now don't get it twisted. Just because I gave Don Lemon that one compliment in saying that he was right does not mean I support everything that Don Lemon does. Because I said in the video, Don Lemon has said and done some questionable things in the past. And it's not like he was lying. Because if you remember, the FBI released a statement saying those exact words. And the people who are upset with what he's saying are the same ones that like to go and talk up and quote the FBI stats, whatever, when it comes to us. And I'm actually like surprised that video got as many views as it did. Like that video was posted maybe like 2 days ago, and it's almost at 30,000 views. And I had, of course, some trolls come to the channel talking about how Don Lemon was a racist and all types of stuff. I said, well, if he's a racist for regurgitating a message put out by the FBI that's ran by white people, then what are they? Because it's not like he pulled that quote out of his, out of thin air. Now, if he would have went in and said the FBI had said that, that would have made his point even more interesting. They only talk about that FBI stuff when it comes to us, and they can only pinpoint us to one little category. Meanwhile, they take up most of the chart. And I had some people who came to the comment section and said, "Why would he be fired for telling the truth?" I said, "You must not know how this works. They don't like truth tellers. They like liars." Well, how do you think them people over at Fox News still manage to stay employed? Because they got to regurgitate propaganda and lies to keep up appearances and to stay paid and keep that channel flowing. Exactly, cats. It for them to do that, it's the American way. Next thing I wanted to talk about was that yoga shooter. Now, I didn't really get a chance to go and really research that incident, but that's the one that people kept saying. They were telling me, Terrain, there was a shooting in Florida, there was a shooting in Florida, there was a shooting in Florida. And I didn't know the details past the fact that there was a shooting in Florida and who it involved. But they said it was a yoga and like a yoga. Was he a yoga instructor or did he just go there and he just happened to shoot up the place? And of course, it would be again in Florida, and I think that's probably why people sent it to me because it was in Florida. But what I did learn, and it was on Lisa's channel, was this guy had a history of sexually harassing women. And I said, watch. His reason as to why he did that is because he's gonna say because Trump said he could. Remember that story I did about that guy on that plane who was groping that woman in her sleep and unbuttoning her shirt and all types of stuff? I said that's gonna be his reasoning as to why. Okay, so he was a yoga instructor. Okay. And of course, in true white male fashion, he was taken in alive. And he wasn't called a terrorist. Oh, you said he killed himself? Then that must have been an old mugshot that I saw of him then. Yeah, see, like I said, I didn't really get a chance to really look into that story. This happened recently. I'm not exactly what day it happened, but I think it happened sometime last week. So let's see. You had the quote unquote pipe bomber, you had the Kroger shooter, the synagogue shooter, now you got the yoga shooter. And all of that happened like within a week's time. And I bet you they probably wouldn't call him a terrorist either. Okay, it's two more stories that I wanted to talk about before I actually end the stream. Like I said, this is gonna be a short one. The first one I wanted to talk about, and I have to give a huge shout out to True Royal Family. I don't know if she's still watching, but she definitely helped out a lot with me making this video. And that's Susan Westwood. Susan Westwood is that white chick who came at those two black sisters um, in that parking lot when their car was like when they were having car trouble, and then she was questioning about them living there. She was the one that was bragging about her so-called $125,000 a year job that she now no longer has because she got fired, and she has no place to stay because she got evicted. Well, if y'all already know, she was on the run. She actually ran and evaded the police, and she was missing. And they actually finally, for the first time ever, charged her with the misuse of 911, which took them long enough considering all the calls that these white females, for the most part, have been making on black people over the course of this year. Well, she's not still hiding. Oh, there's True Royal. She's right there. I knew she was going to hit us. No, she's not still hiding. She turned herself in yesterday. I know, shocking. She turned herself in yesterday. I said now she has problems on her hand. Not only did she get fired and evicted, but now I hope those two sisters keep that lawsuit on them that they have drawn up against her. And now she has those charges of misuse of using 911 against her. But the thing that got me was the fact that she said that she was hot. I said a hot mess. I said hot where? That woman looked like them lizard things off of the Mario Brothers movie, which that movie was trash, by the way. If you've never seen it, don't watch it. With the combination of a toad. And someone made another point. So you mentioned about what school her kids went to, and someone said I'm familiar with that school, and they said that school is a public school. They said so she was making $125,000 a year. Then why didn't she send her kids to a public school? And did y'all hear her on that call? She straight up lied. Like she was up there trying to say that these women were doing something and something like that. But good thing the women were recording because what she told them cops and what she was displayed on camera when the sisters were recording her didn't add up. Royal, she probably is a meth head. She has all the symptoms. Exactly, Black Ray. She could have been living in some other suburban area in a house, and she's making $125,000 a year, which makes me believe she was not making that much money. Absolutely nothing, Asher. She only in her head does she believe that to be true. Oh, you said she worked for a cable company called Spectrum. I've heard of Spectrum. I've heard of Spectrum. Well, she don't work there no more. Like you said, she worked. She used to work there. She ain't there no more. She also don't have no cable either because she don't live there no more at that apartment. All right, the last topic I wanted to talk about because I actually have to like truly get off here, and this is a story that I actually heard on Harvey's channel, and that's the topic of Draymond Green, Fergie, and Josh Dumel. Two of those people you are probably familiar with out of the three. But the third one is the one that I really wanted to focus on. So if y'all don't know, Josh Duhamel, he's an actor. I wouldn't even consider him an A-list actor. Maybe at one point in his career, but of course, I remember him more so being in the Transformers movies. He was probably in some other stuff, but I really remember him from Transformers. What's going on, Sean from the Chai? Uh, so as y'all remember, back in February during the All-Star game, Fergie completely butchered the national anthem. I mean, it sounded horrible, like nails on a chalkboard. And they panned the camera over to the players, like, I guess, to get their reactions. And Draymond Green kind of chuckled at it. I'm not even gonna lie, I laughed too because it was horrible. And he just chuckled. And if y'all know Draymond Green has the tendency to be petty at times. And I always say, why doesn't Draymond Green just become a soccer player as much as he likes to kick people on the court? But anyway, Josh Duhamel must have got so upset at that we're talking months later down the line after people have forgotten about it. Like really, we went past that, and he brought it up again, talking about Draymond Green needs to apologize to her. I said, for what? He wasn't the only one laughing, and he was actually doing less than most people were, because some people were doing way more harder laughing than he was. He just chuckled and smirked, but he bypassed all of them and focused squarely on Draymond Green. I said, I'm very sure she was trying to get past it and had got over it too, but now you done brought it back up again by mentioning this. And mind you, they are not even married anymore. They are exes. They are separated, divorced. The only thing they share are maybe a couple of kids. I said Draymond Green ain't gonna get that man no apology, and I know Josh Jamel ain't gonna go up to Draymond Green's face and say anything to him because Draymond Green will put him in his place. Catch, you call him Josh Younghead. I saw you come up with the craziest nicknames, and I thought I came up with crazy nicknames. I mean, if she sounded bad, she sounded bad. It's not like she's going to be the first or the last person to butcher that song, in which we really don't care. Because let's be real here, the only person that really did that song justice, and I think we can all agree, was Whitney Houston. All right, y'all. Like I said, that was going to be the last topic I was going to just discuss. Like I told you, this was going to be a short stream today because I had to go to work and I want to get some rest before I got to go in. And I actually got to leave my house probably no later than 3:20. So, uh, got to get off here. But before I go, tomorrow, maybe around 8 o'clock, I might be doing another live stream talking about a specific topic on here that I that I didn't want to talk about on today because I wanted to have that completely separated from this, and it's going to actually be hopefully a collab with somebody else that I never collabed with before, and I wanted to collab with them because I knew they were an expert in discussing this, and it was something we talked about off of here on another platform. I think it was yesterday or maybe the day before yesterday, and I don't think they've ever been on my channel before. So then you'll become familiar with them. Some of you probably heard of them before. I'm not going to mention their name, and you'll find out then. So I need to get all of that worked out tomorrow, before tomorrow, and then we can get that discussion popping. And this is going to be a very interesting discussion because we talked about this on another platform for almost 2 hours. So who knows how long this one is going to run? But I just wanted to drop that in on you. Of course, I'll set it up as like a reminder or whatnot, like I do with all my live streams, so y'all can be prepared for that. Because what we talked about and what it is, the document that we're going to be discussing is intense. That's all I have to say. But I'm gonna leave it right here. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your day, and I will definitely talk to you all in the next one.